Hello, my crafty friends. Today I am sharing a card that is not only a shaker card, but it has a pop-up inside. My card today is actually larger than A2. It is 5 by 6.5 inches. It's a card and envelope set that I picked up at Michael's several years ago. I still have a couple of packages of them. I really like the size. I've been moving away from A2 cards for a while now. Something like this just feels more substantial in your hands. Now this one is quite heavy and bulky, but I made it for a family member's birthday and I'll be hand delivering it. So that's when I like to use my bulkier elements for cards that I know I'm going to be hand delivering. The butterfly itself, this whole shaker panel, was from Queen & Company. It came with the foam piece. So the foam piece underneath is an entire piece of double-sided foam, and it had the butterfly cut out of it. It came with the acetate to fit over the top, and it came with an A2 white card base and also this white panel for decorating. And while the butterfly was die cut, it was intact. So I did my sponging, etc. on it and then just simply punched the butterfly out. I assembled the shaker and put it on the white card. And to create the clouds on the front of my card, I used the cloud edger. So I've talked about this in other videos. It's a mask and it comes with the outline as well as the inside. I haven't done much with that outside yet. It's not really the puffy, whimsical clouds. It's more realistic. I really like that. And I used my Tailored Expressions blending brushes, Katherine inks, and I just start from the bottom. It's how I do it. I have been doing this for well over 20 years. And so I know a lot of people now start at the top and work down. For me, if I'm doing the sky, I start at the bottom and work my way up. So I started with yellow, went to coral, pink, and then 2 different blues. All of them, as I said, are Katherine inks. They blended so beautifully on this panel. And then I just added it on the top. Some of the Fairy Jewel Bling, which was in Simon Says Stamps. Rainbow is my favorite color card kit. Now this piece that came out, there's actually the two. There's the piece that popped out of the foam, and there's also the piece that came out of here. I could actually peel off this liner and adhere this over top, and I would have a perfectly sized 3D element to add, but it is quite thick. So instead, I'm going to save this to use on another card. And this one I will cut into pieces to use as foam tape for elements that I want to really pop up. It's like a double width of foam tape. Well, it was a nice clean edge because it was a solid piece of foam. I wanted to disguise that foam a little bit, so I wrapped it 3 times with baker's twine and just secured it at the very bottom there. So that was the front of my card done. And then inside, I made it a pop-up. The pattern paper that I used is this gilded ink from Recollections. This was a 12 by 12 pad of paper that I picked up at Michael's. I had just kind of popped in and it was one of 2 pads that were left because alcohol inked pattern papers are very, very trendy right now. I was really excited. Some of them have the gold gilding on them. The sheet that I chose for this card didn't have the gold gilding on it. I like how wispy the colors are. For my butterfly pop-up, I used the Katherine label pop-up, which is a die set by Karen Burniston, and it is probably my most used die set by Karen Burniston because you can animate so many things with it. The butterflies come from Watercolor Wings, which is a retired set from Stampin' Up. I know they retired this one and then they brought out new butterflies, but I like these ones, so these are the ones that I use. It's 2-step stamping, and then these are the dies. So I use this solid one and then the lacy layer. So that is how I got my butterfly, cut out of a yellow cardstock, kind of a mottled one, and then a pink scrap that I had. Actually, both of those were scraps sitting on my stamping table. And then after I assembled it with a little bit of foam tape on the body, I spritzed it with shimmer spray. So it's nice and shimmery, and then a few more of the blings. For this yellow piece, as I said, it was a scrap. It was like kind of a rectangle. And I die cut this solid image from the center of it. After I took my butterfly from that, I used the leftover piece, the negative, as a stencil with my blending brushes again. I just laid that negative space on my patterned paper and the blending brushes and then stenciled again with the Katherine inks. I did the same for the envelope front. It's pale enough that I can write over it, although with it being hand delivered, there's lots of room for me to write her name. And then there's a very pale one here. I didn't re-ink my brushes. I just went over the stencil with one of the brushes and just subtle there. The Celebrate Your Special Day is another one of the stamp sets that I use constantly. Large Birthday by Technique Tuesday. There's the Celebrate Your Special Day. So the happy birthday, celebrate your special day, and best wishes on your birthday. Those are the reasons I actually bought the stamp set, because they're perfect for use on my nursing home donation cards. So a fun, sparkly card. It stands nicely for display, and the colors just made me happy. If you enjoyed my video today, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more. And that's it for me today.